So it's been a minute since we last talked about DOWGE or DOWGE, whichever way that you want to pronounce it. I'll be using these two names interchangeably throughout this video and moving forward as well. But the one thing that none of us can deny is that we're all here watching this video and in crypto for the very same reason, which is to have a shot, an opportunity to create a much better financial lifestyle for ourselves and for our family. In all my previous videos, I always wear a black t-shirt, but for this specific video, I made sure to wear this blue one right here. And what that symbolizes is change. It's really breaking free of the status quo or all these shackles that we feel that we're bounded by, that's really placing limitations in terms of creating that better life for ourselves. So I want to start off with this X post right here, which symbolizes the battle cry for everybody who's looking to make that positive change in their financial and economic future, to join this movement to flip the Dow Jones, or at least position themselves to create a better financial future for themselves. So if we look at this X post right here, we could see that it's quite disturbing. For example, the 1% hoard wealth and power by design, thriving on silence, division, and the lie that change is impossible. But the system can be broken. Refuse their rules, evolve, disrupt, be the upgrade they never saw coming. So when we talk about the 1% hoarding most of the wealth and power, check out this. I found out some more information on this website here, so you're free to check it out. It's on Inequality.org, and you can see just by the headline of this graph right here that the richest 1.5% own almost 48% or half of the world's wealth here. So if we dive deeper into it and read this paragraph right here, we could see that according to the UBS Global Wealth Report in 2023, so once again, this is 2 years ago, so these numbers are probably a lot more higher in terms of the division between the wealthy and the rest of the world. So in 2023, the world's richest 1%, those with more than $1 million, own 47.5% of all the world's wealth, equivalent to roughly $214 trillion. So adults with less than $10,000 make up nearly 40% of the world's population. So just imagine that half of the people in this world make less than $10,000, or at least have a net worth of less than $10,000, which means that this population holds less than 1% of the world's wealth. So once again, this is not their income on an annual basis, but their net worth. So the UBS defines wealth as the value of financial assets plus real assets, primarily housing of an individual minus their debt there. So we dig a little deeper into this as well. And then we consider, the super elites, for example, such as the billionaires. You could see that the wealth of 26 billionaires exceeds many national GDP. So the division not only is between individuals, but it's also now a clear separation between the wealthy and even that of the wealth of entire countries there. So very, very alarming there. So the world's 26 richest billionaires, according to the latest UBS Global Wealth Report, own an astonishing $2.8 trillion in wealth as of 2023. So this number is probably a lot higher. This is 2 years ago. This combined wealth is greater than the total goods and services most nations produce on an annual basis. So that is some really eye-opening stats right there, where you have, a very small percentage of the population owning and controlling such a huge portion of wealth, where it even supersedes that of individuals, companies, to the point where their holdings and wealth is a lot more than a lot of the countries that exist on this planet. And that's why it's so important that DOWGE or DOWGE is the savior here. So the main mission behind DOWGE is to flip the Dow Jones. And of course, we had talked about how DOWGE or DOWGE is the XBX 6900 killer, but more importantly, it's very symbolic of a movement that is much greater than that. It really represents the everyday person that is looking to make it to create that better lifestyle for themselves, and to have a shot of a better financial future there. So we go on their website here, and I covered this several times here, so but you're free to have a look at their DOWGE creed here. So they make it very clear in terms of their particular mission, but I want to jump to this particular movement statement right here. So DOWGE, the meme that became a movement. So forget what you think about memes. DOWGE is here to break the mold and shake up the financial scene. This is a beacon for anyone ready to change the corrupt system that has stifled innovation for a long time. And we had saw from the stats of how a very small portion of the elites control such a huge, vast amount of wealth there. And in fact, half of the population have a net worth of less than $10,000, which is really, really insane when you think about it. So DOWGE, creates an exciting space for both seasoned pros and newcomers to challenge the status quo. Set aside traditional portfolio management and risk assessments. This is not just investing, it's a passionate movement. This is more than just a chance to make a buck. It's the beginning of a new cultural shift. So DOWGE empowers the everyday warrior to step up and claim their place in the financial arena. It's time to take action there. And I love that they have this SHIBA here, which is this three-headed Shiba Inu, and you can just have a look at this clip right here, and it's just absolutely tearing up the Wall Street floor here, and that's an indication that people are sick and tired of that corrupt system, and they want a system that's more fair and that would give them the chance to create that better economic situation for themselves moving forward into the future here. So the one thing with the movement is we always want to see it growing, right? So the good thing is when we go back to its X page, for example, we see that its following count continues to rise. So right now it's saying about 3,400 followers. And also the one thing that I really like to look at is also, are we seeing more videos on YouTube on it? So if you type in, DOWGE crypto here, and this is very cool and humbling at the same time that, I created a video on DOWGE about 12 days ago, and it ranks as a top video. So if you haven't had the opportunity, I'll put the link to that video in the description below. So feel free to check it out. But, just as important is you're starting to see a lot more people talking about DOWGE. When I first started creating this video, I saw Superman and Crypto Gains, as the main drivers for DOWGE, but now you're starting to see other KOLs or influencers talk about it. You have CryptoNate, for example. This is 3 days ago. CryptoBuzz, Tommy. So it's really good to see that DOWGE is starting to get their flowers, more attention on it, and that will only help the movement of DOWGE grow bigger and bigger with each day passing by there. So really good to see that there's more people talking about DOWGE here. So we go and we look at the price action here. We could see that it's been on quite a pretty nice run that has been up and to the right, ever since of, let's say, June 26th. So the last, I would say 3 weeks has been on a pretty nice run here. And just more recently, it's reached its all-time high of about $30 million right now. So some really good price action right now. So of course, there's several ways that you could really look at this. And if you're more like a short-term trader, for example, then maybe right now is not the best time to get involved, because obviously it's tapped into its all-time high, right? But from there, if it does happen to retrace, you could look at these areas right here. About the $25 million mark has some support there. Also, there's a ton of support in this area right here. So it's about the $18 to $20 million mark. And those are the two areas that, if you're looking to DCA and it happens to do some sort of pullback, for example, then once again, this is not financial advice. I'm just sharing my thoughts on what could happen. Doesn't mean that will happen, but those are, strong areas of support for this project right here. But it looks like when we kind of zoom in here, we see that it's kind of been retesting the $30 million market cap, several times over the last 24 hours. So we'll see how much momentum it has. Maybe it could break through and go to the upside here. But once again, that's a possibility that it could retrace. So maybe those are, areas of entries that might be of interest. But nonetheless, the price action of DOWGE or DOWGE has been, very, very positive. And also, a lot of people have been asking, where do you buy this particular token? And if you go to either CoinGecko or to CoinMarketCap, what you do is you click under markets and you'll see where you can buy it. So, sometimes, most of the time, CoinGecko is pretty good at listing all the places, whether they're DEXs or SEXs. But you can see right here that Pump.fund drives most of the volume at 1.9 million. And typically, what I'd like to do is go to CoinMarketCap as well. Sometimes they have a little more information. So here you see that it is available on Pump Swap. Or did I say Pump.fund? I mean Pump Swap, pardon me. And also on the central exchange KSEX here. So if you're looking to buy DOWGE, for example, that is how you go about going about doing so, or at least finding out where you could actually buy. And once again, make sure to go to the website. So this is Pump Swap right here. So it is Pump.fund. And all you do is you need a DeFi wallet and you connect it. And then you fund it with Solana, for example, and you could see you use Phantom and all these other wallets right here. And also, if you prefer to use a centralized exchange, then you would go to ksex.com here, and you would send your crypto there, and then swap it for use USDT and swap it as well. But if you go to the chart, we talked about the short term, but also on the long term as well. And I think that's why a lot of people here, and that's where you make the massive gains, is during the massive full blown alt season, right? So, there's several ways to look at it. We could always make a comparison to XBX 6900 here. And we'll just let it load here, and it's sitting about $1.6 billion market cap. So, from here, that's about a 50 to a 55x, which is a crazy good return. Once again, when full blown alt season happens, all these numbers are totally out the window. And let me give you an example. Of course, most notable example is DOWGECOIN, and you could see how crazy its graph is, particularly in this area. And this was in the last bull run where it reached an all-time high of close to $100 billion. And you could see how fast it ran up, and it was a super large cap. So just imagine the amount of money that was needed to go into DOWGECOIN in order to make it fire up this high this quickly. So back in April of 2021, it was sitting at about an $8 billion market cap, and by the time it was May, which is 1 month later, it fired up to close to $100 billion. So that's how fast and how much momentum an altcoin could absolutely fire up, and it's just absolutely crazy during that particular season. So if you see, if your belief is that DOWGE or DOWGE has that same type of potential, maybe not reaching the same market cap as DOWGECOIN, but has the ability to kind of just parabolically, do like a 90-degree, price action movement, then, that's a decision that you need to make for yourself in terms of seeing it as a potential long-term hold and capitalizing it as a full-blown altcoin season project there. So once again, just sharing my thoughts here, but overall, it's good to see that DOWGE is getting more and more attention on it. And what I'll do is I'll leave the CA to DOWGE in the description below. And also, none of this stuff is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing my thoughts and opinions. And, make sure to subscribe to this channel. And also, I'll start posting a little bit more on X as well. So feel free to follow my account right here at, 100X Crypto Gems. So with that, I'll see you in the next one.